Hi FlossTube, this is Kathy, the Kentucky Woman Stitcher, and this is my very first video, and I'm a little nervous about doing this. I've been watching FlossTube for several months now and have seen so many wonderful videos and so many beautiful things that people show that I just wanted to become a part of this community, and hopefully something that I show might inspire someone else, or they just might like to see my stitching. So I'm hoping that this will turn out to be a good video because I'm just really extremely nervous. I do have some notes down here, so I may be looking down occasionally, so please forgive me for that. I'm married since 1991, and I retired 2 years ago from teaching school. I have been an elementary teacher all my career, and I was blessed to teach on an Army post, and I was able to serve the families of our brave military men and women who protect us every single day. And I just feel like that was a big blessing that I was able to serve this community. As most of you who are older cross-stitchers, I started stitching in the 1970s, late 1970s, and I started with a kit. I had always done stamped cross-stitch or embroidery when I was growing up, but this was the first time that I had seen a counted cross-stitch kit. And so after doing this kit, and it was a baby sampler for a very good friend of mine, I just fell in love with cross-stitch and decided I needed to make that as my hobby. So I began collecting things. As you know, the early cross-stitch designs were mostly teddy bears or bunnies or geese or rag dolls, and the main designers were things like Canterbury designs or Dale Burdett designs, and they were all little cute country themes. And I enjoyed stitching them back then, but of course everybody's taste change as they get older. And I started stitching on Aida, as most everybody does, but decided I didn't really like Aida. Then I discovered 22 count hardanger, and I really liked this fabric. The designs turned out small, and I really liked that. I liked petite things like that. I have a few pieces left of that hardanger that I stitched. Most of them I gave away, but I do have a couple of things. First thing I want to show you are two little magnets I made. These are stitched on hardanger, and I was going to make magnets out of them. I covered the buttons and took the shank off the button, and I never got around to gluing the magnets to the back, but I thought they were cute at the time I was stitching them. The only other thing I have left that's stitched on hardanger is a little sampler, and it says an apple a day keeps the doctor away. And this is stitched on, I believe, white 22 count hardanger, and it's one of the only pieces I have left. But I really enjoyed stitching things like this because they turned out so petite and delicate looking. So that was my beginning of stitching small things. And I am a stitcher of small things. I like to do smalls. I have done a few larger ones, and I have some of those I'd like to show you. Right now I stitch mainly on linens and even weaves, and my favorite count is 32 count, and I enjoy stitching on Jobelin. So now to show you a few of my designs. This was the very first large piece that I stitched. And it comes from Cross My Heart book, Words of Love. And it's this little piece, it's this big piece right here. It's the Serenity Prayer. And I stitched that on 32 count ivory Joblin with DMC. And I stitched it back in 1992. And I hope you're going to be able to see this okay. And it's got the Serenity Prayer there. And that whole background is stitched with half cross stitches so that it just looks very delicate and just kind of fades away, and all you see are the words. So I stitched this for my husband to put in his office at work, and he kept it there until he retired because he was always a fan of the Serenity Prayer. So that was my very first large piece. Then Paula Vaughn started designing, or they started making cross-stitch designs out of Paula Vaughn's paintings, and I just fell in love with her designs, and I have one that I stitched here. This is Spring Remembered Part 1. And they're beautiful pieces. I love them, but they're really confetti heavy up here and where all the roses are, and there's lots of color changes, but they do make beautiful pictures. So this was my first Paula Vaughn. And it's stitched on 30 count Murano, and I believe it's cream, with DMC threads. And I stitched this in 1993. So this is one of my favorite designs that I have hanging in my house. The next larger one that I stitched is called Magnificent Story, and it's from a Leisure Arts book that was published in 1992. It's called Oh Christmas Tree. Now, I just saw Lori from Mischievous Stitches show her video yesterday about all of the Leisure Arts books that she found at the thrift store, and she got a real bargain on those. These have some really nice designs in them, and they're just beautiful, beautiful designs. So this is the one that I stitched from this book. It's called Magnificent Stitches. Excuse me, Magnificent Story. I don't know if you can see that. It's from Isaiah 9:6. Let me show you that. It's for unto us a child is born. And this is also one of my favorite designs. And it's stitched on 32 count raw Belfast linen with DMC threads. And I stitched it in 1997. Now for some smaller designs. This is a shepherd's bush kit called Tender Heart, and it came with the fabric, which is 32 count alabaster linen. It came with silk threads, and it also came with this gorgeous mat. And I don't remember when I stitched this, but it is one of my favorites as well because I love shepherd's bush. And the mat is just gorgeous. It just sets off the design. So I love this. It's hard to tell that that linen is pink, but it does have a pink cast to it. Alright, the next thing I'd like to show you is something more recent. This is a chart by New York Dreamer called Wintertime. And she does have all the seasons charted, as well as a chart called Christmas Time. I stitched mine on 32 count dapple linen by Picture This Plus, and I used the called for threads, and I made it into a pillow with pom-pom trim. I used snowflake backing on it, and I have a little display shelf that I think this will just look beautiful sitting on top of. It'll be the main thing that people will see when they look at that. So I really like that. This one is my very first Prairie Schooler Santa. And it's the 1996 one. This one right here. This is stitched on 32 count Simply Sage Jobelin by Hand Dyed Fabrics by Stephanie. And I made it into an ornament. It made kind of a large ornament, but I still like it. I used blending filament in the snowflakes and on this trim on his coat. Can't really tell. It does sparkle a little bit, but I think next time that I will maybe use Petite Treasure braid or something on it. But all of the snowflakes have that blending filament, and I like it even though it's kind of large, and I just have red backing fabric on it. So I really like that. I've got another one that is kitted up, and I'm ready to start stitching on that. Now I have some stitched pieces that aren't finished yet. So I'm going to just kind of show you those. This is another Shepherd's Bush kit called Home. It's a little sheep there. It came with the fabric and the threads and this little button here, which I'll show you in just a second. It's stitched on 32 count flax with silk threads. Whoops, upside down. But it turned out very cute. I like that. I wasn't sure I would like that little hat button because it seemed so large, but it does set off the piece, and I really think it adds to it. And I love stitching with silk thread. It's amazing. It just glides right through your fabric. The next one is a Bent Creek design called Happy Independence Day. And it's one of the snappers. And I stitched this on 32 count heroic linen. I Picture This Plus. And instead of adding the snaps, I put a little heart button right there. So I think that added to it. I love heroic fabric. I love red, white, and blue. I'm in the patriotic mode right now. So this is one of my works in progress. I'm almost done with it. This is Lizzie Kate's Liberty Sampler, and I am stitching this little pillow right here. So I've got this much done of it. This is stitched on 32 count Tallahassee Teal Wexford linen from Silk Weavers. And I need to do the border down here, and then there's some firecrackers right up here that I need to do, and then I'll be finished with this as well. Maybe that's better. But I really like this color of linen. I think it really sets off this design. Now these three patriotic designs that I just showed you, I'm stitching those as gifts for a little get-together that I'm hosting in July, and those are going to be the hostess gifts for, we play cards, and that's going to be the gift for the winners of that card game. My next work in progress I call 3 Pumpkins. And these came from 2 different Just Cross Stitch magazines. One of the designs came from the 2016 Halloween issue, and it's this pumpkin right here. And then the other 2 designs came from the October 2016 Just Cross Stitch magazine. And it's these 2. Now these 2 are a little smaller than the other one, so I put the larger one in the middle. It's not really that much larger, but it is a little bit larger. So I have 2 of the pumpkins done. Get them up here for you to see. Alright, the middle one is done in kind of a gold orange, or an orangey gold. It's more gold than orange. Then the other one is stitched in a green, and then the third one, which is going to go right over here, it's going to be stitched in orange. I wanted it to be more fall than Halloweeny, so I didn't choose the traditional Halloween colors. I just chose what I thought would be cute fall colors. And I'm going to make it into a little pillow, and it's also going in the during the fall, it's going to sit on that little display shelf too on the top. My last work in progress is this. And Heaven and Nature Sing by Kathy Barrick. When I saw this, I just fell in love with this deer. I think that is a very elegant looking deer, and I just love that deer. So I have started stitching this. I stitched it on 40 count legacy linen. This is the first time I've ever stitched on 40 count, so that's been an experience. So let's see. I actually have a headless deer. But I just think it's going to be beautiful when it's done. I just love the colors. I love stitching on 40 count, and I am stitching it with the called for silks. And I just love stitching on silk. So I'm excited to get this finished and framed. I'll really love seeing that hanging in my living room during Christmas. There are a couple of FlossTubers that I watch that I really enjoy. Well, actually, there are several. Of course, everybody watches Vanna. She just has wonderful videos, and her finishes and her stitching is just wonderful, and I enjoy watching her videos. I also watch Lori of Mischievous Stitches. She has some beautiful work too. I really liked her vintage lady in a hat, and that was really done very nicely, and I like the way that she framed it. And Yvonne at Night Owl Stitcher, I like to watch her videos. She does smalls, and I enjoy seeing her small finishes because she does such a good job on that ruffled ribbon that she puts on the side. I really enjoy that. Another FlossTuber that I really enjoy watch is Sylvia of Becky's Land. Now, if you have not watched Sylvia, you need to watch her. If you start at the beginning of her videos and go to the present one, you will just see that she has blossomed so much and has come out of her shell, and I just enjoy seeing her videos and seeing her finishes because she does a beautiful job finishing her projects, and I always look forward to seeing her videos pop up on my notifications because she seems like a really sweet lady, and I enjoy watching them. I have a couple of things, more than a couple of things that I've recently purchased that I'll just share with you. Now, Sylvia on Becky's Land does a lot of Brenda Gervais, and some of the things that she did I just fell in love with, and so I got on a Brenda Gervais kick. I'm a real patriotic fan too, so this is one of them, one of the ones I purchased, Liberty for All. I think that's a very nice design. And then I also got Patriotic Poppies. Yeah. Patriotic Poppies. I'm going to be interested in seeing how those little felt flowers turn out. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to pull that off. Then, okay, I've got this one, Spring Delivery. The first time I saw this one was when Vanna posted a picture of a finish that she had done, and it was so cute. I just think it's the cutest little rabbit. So that would be a great thing to stitch for spring or Easter or both. Then I also got several Christmas ones. Snow for Christmas. There's Santa on a sheep with a snowman on a sled. Jingle Bells. Merry Mouse, the mouse in the Santa hat. So cute. And then the wordplay. This one happens to be September. I also have a couple of others, but I bought those before. But I think these are so cute, and Sylvia has done several of these, and she just finished them so nicely, and I just fell in love with them. So I think that's probably the end of my sharing with you today. I hope I haven't been rambling too much, and I hope that maybe something that you saw inspired you, or something you may like that I finished. But I appreciate you watching, and maybe I'll make another video. So goodbye for today. Bye.